Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Above the Bar podcast, a show about a middle-aged father, current events, and how these things affect my everyday life. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast. It is a special Saturday episode. It is just a few days before we kick off the only sport in America, as the saying went, and I think it was in Every Given Sunday, they actually took Sundays away from God. The NFL season will be starting this Thursday. I have to look. I saw just a minute ago who was playing on this Thursday night. I don't remember, but this Thursday we go live. So if we're gonna do football, I figure we do it with somebody who knows it intricately, personally, lived it. My team, I'm rocking my baseball because it is still baseball season for a week now. My baseball style Baltimore Ravens jersey. We brought with us one of the top 25 undrafted free agents in Baltimore Raven history, offensive lineman. Every season he played with the Baltimore Ravens, he never missed a game. A legend on that O-line, Mr. Bennie Anderson. Bennie, welcome to the bar.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.
And we brought Nate also. Nate don't know how to play football. Nate don't know nothing. We brought Nate. Nate's here. Y'all know Nate. Nate can't draft in fantasy football, save his life. He drafts the kicker first round. Only guy I know. He drafted Joe Montana this year. For those of y'all ain't watching the live, Nate is making faces at me. Hi, Nate. Nate, it's a podcast. You got to talk. Nate.
You got me backstage.
No, I don't. You're live. Everybody can see you.
Hold on.
So as always, folks, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning here. Mr. Bennie Anderson has come on live with us, and it is greatly appreciated. There you are, good sir. We got you live with a little video now, Bennie. And we appreciate it. I got to give a shout out. What high school are you at now, coaching?
I'm at Westminster Christian Academy here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Westminster
Christian
Academy.
Yep.
Put a tattoo on somebody today. 42-0. Put a little work in today. So give a shout out to all them young men. For all of us that our Al Bundy days are behind us, we want to give a little love and a little support to those young men that are out there every day, 2-a-days, making it happen, putting in the extra time in the weight room, getting ready to play. I give them all the credit in the world. I miss them days.
Yeah, those kids work hard, man. They have a good experience. They learn how to be teammates and learn how to play the game of football the way it needs to be played.
And you know, you said it right there. They learn how to be teammates. I always said playing football was like being in the Marine Corps. You can't do it all on your own.
No.
John Rambo was a movie. So we're going to do a little bit of our housekeeping before we get started. Bennie, I got this thing. So you might not have heard. You see what's behind me, right? You see what's on the other side of the mic?
That's right. I see it.
Yeah. So we got this little thing. We call it sticker and a cause. So if you have something that you support, something you believe in, if they turn around and they send that sticker to hit me up, send me a sticker, I will read about it on my show.
Okay.
Helping gain support for whatever their program is, whatever another podcast, if they're a comedian, or if they've got a charitable organization that they're working towards helping out. We do that. So if you've got something, send it to me. The other thing is, whatever you're listening to this one, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like the Facebook page, the YouTube page. Your support is what grows this and gets other people to know what's going on. And last but not least, we have to always share this show to every Facebook page you belong to, so you get kicked off of all them yard sale sites. That's the goal, is every yard sale page should be like, no, you can't put your stuff up here. So you got to put your stuff up on there. And then the last but far from least, I don't know, you didn't get this. I tried to find you. Do you have a big social media presence before we get into this?
You know, I do the Facebook. I'm getting into it. Well, my excuse me, my sons were getting recruited, and I guess the way recruiting worked was through Twitter. So I'm starting to get into Twitter. So yeah, I'm learning, man.
I saw your one boy's IG, and I thought it was you at first.
Uh, yeah, you
Beanie
know what?
Jr.?
Yeah, it used to be me, but now when they Google Bennie Anderson, he pops up.
I put it up, and I was like, oh, that says Junior. Never mind. But so we try to share this around, but we had a lot of great videos. We have our first ever sponsor, who was a guest of ours. His name's Andrew Dibble. Andrew created our social media and created all the media that he featured a lot of amazing stuff for you. It's called Media by Dibble. How it works. But there it goes. I lost my copy. Don't yell at me, Andrew. So Media by Dibble. If you need to increase your podcast, you've got something you're doing, you want to make it better. What you need to do is you need to reach out by Media by Dibs. Media by Dibs. He's on Facebook, Instagram, all your local media. Reach out to Media by Dibs, Andrew Dibble. If you mention to him belly up to the bar, you're going to get 10% off of your first order and a free consultation for him to tell you what works best for you. Once again, make sure you support Media by Dibs, Andrew Dibble. All right. Can you hear us now, Nate?
Yes.
There we go. So the reason
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So what we needed here is we needed Mr. Beanie on today because this Thursday we got the season starting, and I wanted to get his opinion on this year's power rankings from ESPN. So what we're going to do, we're going to break down the top 10 that ESPN has given us, how he feels, how we all feel. Are these folks in the right spot? And who we think might be a dark horse that's going to come out of nowhere, and who might be overpowered.
All
Sound
right.
good, gentlemen?
Sounds great.
All right. So the first in the power rankings, number 10, the quarterback known as porn star Jimmy himself. Do they still call him that? I don't know. Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers. They lost one spot by ESPN after the draft. They were number 9. ESPN after the draft dropped them to 10. How do we feel about this, gents? Are they in the right spot, or are they over, under? What do we think here?
Our initial reaction is that they're overrated at 10. Do they even have a quarterback that they are sold on? That would be my first question. Is it Garoppolo or is it Trey Lance?
They drafted Trey Lance. Yep.
And if Garoppolo is the man, then you wasted a number 3 pick, not necessarily wasted long term, but if this year is the year that you're supposed to press forward, that pick could have been used for another piece of the puzzle if you're trying to win now.
What do you think, Nate?
I think they're over because if they drafted Trey Lance, they don't have faith in Garoppolo carrying for a full season.
See, I think they're a solid 10. Right there at that 10 mark. You know, you look at what's around them, look at the teams that they're playing. I think they sit at a good solid 10. They put Pittsburgh at 11. They should be 32. That's just because they're Pittsburgh, though.
Exactly.
Shit on them.
So are you saying that 10 is so? Let me understand. So 10 is playoff, but not championship caliber.
Absolutely. They're going to make the playoffs. Okay. I don't see any reason why they don't. I'm having a brain fart right now on his name. Who's the tight end that they've got? God, what the hell's his name? I can't think of his name right now. I have to go.
Kittle, George Kittle.
Kittle. I mean, I think you've got solid players. They've got a solid O-line. There's not really, every team can make improvements, except for who they think is number 1, which I think is interesting to me when we get to number 1.
They have a young defense.
And here's why I say it's interesting who they have as number 1. How do you not? And I'll tell you right this. Here's the teaser. It's not the Super Bowl champions.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not make a Super Bowl champions a number 1? I don't get it. But I agree with you. Trey Lance, he's number 3 pick overall. Would you start him over Jimmy, though? Would you start him over Jimmy Pornstar and just let him get his reps?
He hasn't even really played Division I, has he?
Well, he played at the FCS level, and they were a powerhouse. But yeah, if I draft you number 3, even at the quarterback position, you have to play because
Right.
yeah, because if number 3, you're franchise caliber, right? I'm drafting you to be the face of the franchise.
Exactly.
Yes, he plays immediately.
Like so you're sitting Jimmy.
I'm trading Jimmy.
Now I agree with that. Who do you think? Now there are some interesting ones there. Now I don't want to go off on a tangent, but who do you think would have beat their door down to take him?
Beat their door down.
Raiders could use them.
Las Vegas just used a team.
Yeah.
Silly ass Las Vegas.
I would imagine. To me, when you trade for a quarterback who's making $20-some odd million a year, Denver would be great. I think Denver, yes. Denver, yes. I'm with you, Nate.
Now, but does Denver have the draft picks to give up or the players to give up because if you're going to trade a Garoppolo, you want something for a guy like that. You're not giving him up for a 3rd round draft pick, a compensatory pick, and a bucket of fried chicken here, like these silly draft things that we see. But you need for him.
Well, you need for that $20 million salary to be off your books as well.
I go Denver, or not Denver, but Detroit.
Well, they just swapped for the Rams quarterback, right?
Yeah, they just traded.
But wouldn't that have been a better choice for them if Jimmy would have been there draft time?
I agree.
Because
you know who would have been better? Miami. If they didn't just pick up Houston's quarterback.
But what's his name?
Hold on. Say that again, Nate.
Miami got Houston's quarterback. Watson.
Deshaun
Really?
Watson?
Yeah.
When was that announced?
It was announced last week, wasn't it?
Hold on. Google time. Beanie got that face too. Hold on. I got to Google. For all my listeners, whoever's out there listening that can outdo me on the Google, if you can Google faster than I can, let's verify. Somebody just sent me a text. Deshaun Watson. Let's see. At least 10 of Deshaun Watson's accusers. Nope, he's got 10 accusers. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Force a trade by telling the Texans he's ready to play. He's still with the Texans, bro. He didn't get traded.
Okay.
He didn't get traded. You had us all.
I know there was a lot of talk there for a while.
You in some inside shit.
But Miami would be a good fit too for Garoppolo.
So where do we say that so I say they stay right where they're at. What do you say? Where do you think they should fall to there, Beanie?
I'm thinking they're middle of the pack. I think they are on the fringes of the playoff berth. So I would put them around 14, 15. Let's go 15.
15, middle of the road, Nate.
Yeah, 15.
I'm leaving them right where they're at. I think they still got some juice in the tank. Dibble's on here right now with us, our media partner, saying go Panthers. I don't know where they're gonna go, bro. And there's my uncle.
Didn't they just cut Will Gear?
Now next on this list, I think this one to me, this is going to be an overpowered, in my opinion, because I think everyone's got their running backs number now, but they've got the Tennessee Titans at a number 9. What are we thinking here, Nate? You go first.
I think they should be lower.
Now, what's your thoughts there?
Titans is a powerhouse. I mean, they got the wide receivers and running backs.
But Harold Landry on the hot seat. I mean, what do we think?
They did well last year, though.
I don't know.
You said Tennessee Titans number 9, right?
Number 9. I think that's too high a number for them.
I think that's right where they should be. I think they were a solid playoff team. if some things can go the way that they need them to go, I think they can make a possible run. I think they were.
I think they could be anywhere from a 7 to a 9.
So they're saying right now, this is an interesting one. I'm just picking up some notes here real quick. Ryan Crow, linebacker coach, is not allowing Landry to use his speed rush in camp. What would be the reasoning behind that? I don't even understand that.
Well, he needs to develop another move.
Beanie, I'm going to tell you something. You might have Kreskin-like abilities. You could be a psychic. Because that's exactly what this says, is he needs to develop other moves.
Yeah.
Look at you. Did you ever
I was thinking, I'm injured.
Did you ever play in the NFL, Beanie? I mean, you're pretty good at this. I mean, you're pretty good at this. I don't know. I just feel like, maybe I'm just still a Tennessee hater from back in the day.
Yeah.
But I just don't. They just always seem like that team to me that gets a couple of good runs in with them. They do have a great coaching staff. I will tell you, I think their coaching staff is phenomenal over there, and they've just to me that's the heart of that team is their coaching.
Yeah. These Tennessee Titans are not the Tennessee Titans that we are used to. I don't think
they're not.
I don't think the organization and the leadership there will just be content with being mediocre. I think this is one of those progressive coaching staffs that are constantly looking for ways to get better. So I don't think they're going to rest on their laurels like the Titans of the past.
Oh yeah, the old Titans were, I just
7-9, 9-7, 8-8
every year.
Right.
You might play them hard. You might see a couple good games at them, but they were never over that hump.
Yeah.
They were never over that. So what we're all going to say, I'm going to say I would feel like they're a middle of the pack to me. They could go either way.
I think they're on the fringes of contending.
I would put them more on that fringe level. I never whenever I watch a Tennessee game, I never feel like they've got this. At any minute, they never are a team that I sit and I watch. So, you think about a Kansas City. You never go into watching a Kansas City game.
Right.
Not believing that at any minute.
Oh, the moment that ball snapped, they got it.
Yeah.
So I think about a Tennessee team and I don't even feel like they're a grinding team.
They're not. They're not. They are a finesse team with a big back. And I don't think they really can. They have proven yet that they can close out a game on a defensive side.
Now you talk about big backs. I have to ask this question. Mm-hmm. In your days, did you play against Christian Okoye or any of them?
No, but I played with in my opinion, I blocked for the greatest big back in NFL history, Jamal Lewis.
He was a monster.
Man.
I taught my he's now 25-year-old son. Mm-hmm. When he played football, I made him run like Jamal. Now, unfortunately, he's 5'5" and about 125 pounds wet with rocks in his pocket. But my man would hit a hole, and this was a Jamal thing. Yeah. His legs never stopped. That man's legs never stopped.
Jamal is the only person that I've ever. You can literally hear him hitting the hole, and it actually sounded like a bottle rocket.
You know who coached Jamal, don't you?
No.
Me.
No, who?
Ernest Piner.
Yeah. Him. EB was there, and also Matt Simon. They coached Jamal so hard. That's why he was a great player.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him. I was a big. Well, do you remember the days when they used to say that every player on the Ravens was going to be named Lewis? Ray Lewis, Jamal Lewis, Jermaine Lewis. We were just going to have. It was going to be the Lewises.
Hey, they work for us.
There's a big Super Bowl commercial on that too for Super Bowl 35.
Was there? I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to number 8. Now, number 8 has to be a fan favorite, not necessarily a Baltimore fan favorite, but an NFL fan favorite. Who, interestingly enough, I could have seen them draft early a quarterback, only because I don't know if their quarterback, how many more years he's got. Number 8, Seattle Seahawks.
Too high.
8's too high for them. You think they're on the backside of the legacy?
Absolutely. I think Russ Wilson still has a lot in the tank, but they have never figured out their offensive line. I think their left tackle is holding out. They've never figured out, and they haven't had a decent pass rush in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I actually have them as definitely the second best team in their own division, and possibly the third best.
Really? You're dropping them that far?
I am.
Who are you putting as number 1 in that division?
Well, I'm putting the Rams.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's another hot cold team. Hot cold.
It is.
What are you thinking there,
Didn't
Nate?
they just trade a lot of players?
Who? Seattle or the Rams?
No, the Rams.
That I don't know.
Well, they traded. They got Matt Stafford at quarterback, and I think they just got a running back.
The Browns got somebody from them too.
Yeah, the Rams just got the running back from New England, Sony Michel.
Now you mentioned somebody.
He's a good running back too.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm going to put this out here, and I mean this with all the love in my heart. If you don't like Matt Stafford, you don't like football, and you can go ahead and log off now.
Right.
That is the most heart and soul, down and dirty, play through anything. I wish him and Barry would have been playing at the same time. God, that team would have been.
He could take a hit.
Yeah, Jeff George used to say that shit too. Look, I can take a hit. I just always have you ever, I know we're sidebarring right here for a minute, but have you ever seen where he almost had the same exact injury as his college injury with the shoulder, and it was dipped?
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to him in the NFL?
No, I didn't know that.
So he had a bad injury in college, where it was a shoulder injury, and
Did he still play out that game too?
Yes, he played, and it was a big thing. He went out and he finished, drug the shoulder, and he would get the pass going, and he had that same thing. It's just like Benny, if you can't tell, I'm horrible with names. No. I can describe
Brian Leftwich.
Thank you. See, how did you know? See, did I talk about this before, Nate? And you remembered it?
No.
The Byron Leftwich.
I just remember that injury.
And he had that in the NFL too. He did the same thing.
The leg injury.
Yep. So we're saying they're too high. I think we can all kind of agree this Seattle being a number 8 is an emotional placement.
It's a nostalgia. It's nostalgia. No, it's gone.
I mean, I'm double checking some of their notes here. Rashad Penny, number 27 overall pick in 2018. He's never really produced.
No, he can't beat out the other
guy. Carson?
Yeah, he can't beat him out.
So I think we can all kind of agree. This is an emotional placement, not really a great one. Nate, you got anything to put on that one?
I thought of another one who could use Garoppolo. Arizona.
That's where all great players go to die. That is NFL graveyard.
I was thinking more so the Redskins. The Washington football team could have used Garoppolo.
Do they have a name yet?
Yeah, the Washington football team.
Now, this next one, I'm okay with it. I actually completely agree with it. And I think it's good for AFC Central. Number 7, Cleveland Browns. Look, they played solid football last year. They looked good towards the end of the season. I think I'm not buying the Baker Mayfield that, Odell Beckham is something to be. Oh, it's not Odell. look, Odell not being there when he's not there, it's not that he is a distraction. He's a paycheck and a big name that you feel obligated to throw to. He's not. It's more of an obligation. It's kind of like if Jordan's on your team, you feel obligated to make sure he touches that ball.
Right.
Odell Beckham is that player. He's a phenomenal player, but he's on that field. You feel obligated to get him the ball.
Right.
But I think they're a solid 7. I don't see any issues with that, and I think they're going to be real. They're going to be our real competition the next couple of years until Pittsburgh gets their shit together.
See, I'm not as high on Cleveland, and the reason being, I think a lot of us, we remember Cleveland beating Pittsburgh the last game of the season and then beating them in the playoffs. That was, at that point, that was a Pittsburgh's team that was barely hanging on. And so I'm not ready to call them give them number 7. I would put them maybe at 10, right behind the Titans.
Okay.
Because I kind of see them and the Titans kind of in the same vein, on the fringes of being
I think that's fair. 3 Pro Bowlers. What are you thinking there? I mean, and I'll give you that. I think they're still though. They're in that playoff hunt. They're right there in it.
I think they're at 6.
Wow, really? So you're boosting them. Why?
That defense. I mean, they bolstered that defense.
Wow, 6.
And they already had the weapons on offense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I think they could surprise you this year.
I mean, I think they have the potential.
Because Pittsburgh don't have it.
Pittsburgh ain't shit. Fuck Pittsburgh.
All those first-round draft picks may pay off for them.
Yeah, they may. I just don't. I mean,
wow.
I think the Cleveland Browns are who they are. I don't think there's much. They may take. I don't know. I'm not convinced.
I got to give them. I'm going to have to give them a. I think they got. I don't know. I still feel like they're a solid 7. But this could be the longest part of the conversation. And I don't. And I think I think they put us in the wrong spot. You know who I'm talking about. Our beloved purple and black played like a Raven. The city carries them on their back. Our Baltimore Ravens, they're putting them at a 6. And I almost want to name off the one they put higher. And I agree with who they got on the hot seat, though. They're putting Bradley Boozman on the hot seat. Our center game was garbage last year.
Yeah.
They made more.
He wasn't center last year, though. He was guard.
No. But I'm just saying our center game in general. Boozman's on the hot seat because he's taking that position. I don't.
Yeah, I think 6 is I think 6 is good.
You think 6 is good? I would have called us a 4 because when I see the other 2 teams that are ahead of us, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I would have called us a 4. Skip Bayless hates us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 6, and the reason why I would go with 6 is I still don't know if we have an interior pass rush. Campbell, that's what he was brought in to do, and I know he was banged up quite a bit last year. You don't necessarily heal by getting a year older. So I'm a little concerned with that. And then, we did trade Little Zeus.
Thank you.
It's tough, man, to give up a 25-year-old.
That was upsetting.
Pro Bowl offensive tackle who was still on his rookie contract.
What was did we ever really hear a reasoning other than? I mean, it's always hard. We watch.
I think it was more he wanted to.
I mean, we said in Ozzy.
He wanted to go to Kansas City.
He wanted to play left tackle or something, right? He wasn't
going to get a shot at left tackle here.
Was he a left tackle in college?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was it. And from my uncle Schittsburg, absolutely. We have stories about that place. Um, but yeah, I just God, we'll get to them in a second. But I feel like the two teams they put ahead of us, I'm just not buying those two teams being a 4 and a 5. But now this one comes up to me and I think and Beanie's going to be back on, folks. So I don't want to get into all the details. He's going to come back on a Wednesday on our regular live show, and we're going to talk about his life coming up, what it was like to be drafted, or I should say undrafted, and now to be ranked as one of the 25 greatest undrafted Ravens in Raven history. We're not talking, hey, he's pretty good. In Ravens history, in Ozzie, we
top
trust.
5, Sean. Top 5.
You're in the top. Well, you're in the 25, but you're the top 5 ever.
Right.
Think about that. Most of us have never been top 5 in anything other than getting in
No.
trouble in school. This is
Pretty
a man
much.
who changed the face. And this is something I mean, you had to protect quarterbacks for Baltimore. You kept running backs. You made holes that I could have run through. And I wasn't running through shit. All right. How would you feel? And I'm curious about this. Would you, and if this is something you can't answer, brother, I understand that. Would you, or how do offensive linemen feel with a guy like a Lamar that they have to protect? Is it a pain in the butt, or is it like, no, I can adjust to that?
Well, it's a two-way street. One, yeah, can he pat the ball a little bit long? Yes. But can he also make you look good when you look bad by making guys miss and not necessarily have to be on a spot in order to make plays? So that too, it kind of, you take the good with the, he's just a phenomenal quarterback, a phenomenal athlete. So you definitely want to protect him and, get the opportunity to block for him. But him moving around and all that, can he move into a sack? Yeah, absolutely. But overall, you'd much rather block for him than from a guy who's going to sit on the spot, unless that guy is, who.
Oh, the second greatest quarterback in NFL history?
Dude, Dan Marino's number 2, Elway's number 1.
No, number 1 is Johnny Unitas.
Yeah, that's true too.
Johnny U, the
Johnny
general. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
I truly believe that like GOAT is generational.
Yeah.
GOAT is generational. Like Brady is who he is, but Brady's not playing in Montana's era. Montana's
But the
not
game
playing.
changed.
That's why I said it's generational. It's completely generational. That Johnny U never had a helmet on, with somebody whispering in his ear. But I'm always curious about how offense. And now are you the head coach for your school there in St. Louis?
No, I'm the offensive line coach.
Okay, that makes absolutely perfect sense. Mm-hmm. But now, do you see with the Patrick Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons of today, do you see these kids trying to emulate that at all?
Absolutely. So I'm in St. Louis. Of course, we don't have a team, so we get all the Chiefs games.
Okay.
So yeah, you definitely see that the kids trying to emulate. Well, I wouldn't even say the kids, more so the coaches. The coaches on the high school level, on the youth level, for a lot of them aren't really that good, and they don't do a lot of professional development. So they kind of try to pull off what they see on TV. And a lot of times those kids just cannot do it. So what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of kids who are being asked to do things that they can't because coaches are looking for a Lamar Jackson or trying to run the same plays that Patrick Mahomes runs, but the kids just can't do it. So yeah, so I kind of see it on the opposite end.
So yeah, is it like when we see the baseball coach trying to get a kid to throw a curveball? Kid ain't got no business. He's gonna be Tommy John surgery by the time he's 19.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Got it. I was interested on how you saw that and how your feels were. So I'm saying Baltimore should be a 4. I'm not saying a number 1. I'm not using emotional, but
Right.
I'm saying we're a number 4.
Okay.
I'm saying we're a number 4. But the other side to it is when you're getting this 6 through 1 portion, flip a coin, I guess you could almost say. These are all playoff teams. These are all teams that are in contention.
Yeah.
These are all teams that could easily play in the Super Bowl.
Right.
At any point. Where you say they're solid at 6 there, Beanie?
Yeah, I like us at 6. Yes.
Nate?
I have to agree with you. I'd say 4.
But I think Beanie's going to like this next one. He's already kind of gave us a little bit of a, you know what, they got a shot at this. I love I have to say I love this team's coach. There's a lot of great coaches out there today. And they've got great pedigrees, some phenomenal pedigrees out there. And I think this guy's got one of those pedigrees. They're putting number 5 down from 4 post-draft. And I'm going to say these St. Louis Rams. Can we put it on the St. Louis Rams?
No, they LA Rams, man.
All right,
they
LA
left.
Rams.
Yeah, we don't like Kroenke.
So they got the Rams at 5. Their statement is when Rams training camp opened, Allen appeared to be the second in a competition with Austin Corbett to earn the starting job at center. Interesting. So, Sean McVay, is he a mad genius?
Put it like this. I don't even think we've seen 20% of what Sean McVay is going to bring to the NFL. Yeah, he is what not Schottenheimer. What's the guy name in San Francisco?
We both almost said Marty Schottenheimer. And it's not Harbaugh either. God, I can think of every coach that was ever out there but him.
Yeah, but McVay is what people want that guy to be.
Is it Shanahan?
No.
Yeah, Shanahan. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, McVay is. Oh man, yeah.
He is the boy genius, now the mad genius.
And I'm not even a Rams fan, but that guy, yeah, man, I'm very interested to see what Stafford does.
I mean, Matthew Stafford in that program, but is Matt? God, and I love Matthew, but I mean, are we pulling a Peyton Manning here, going to Denver?
No.
You think he's still got that much gas in the tank?
Yes.
Really?
Remember, Peyton was coming off his shoulders surgery.
Was it shoulder or neck? I thought it was neck.
Well, oh yeah, right, neck, and he had some nerve damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his arm was never the same. I think Stafford is got a lot left.
Still got the juice. But you think they're a 5?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a star league, man.
I disagree.
I can't.
I think they're lower.
Think they're lower?
Now, tell me why, Nate. I mean, you and I are a couple of fantasy football armchair quarterbacks praying that my shit goes through. My man Beanie looks at the game and goes, "Did you see that?" Beanie, I would love for you to sit down with my 25-year-old and watch football, only because I would feel educated. Because he watches it.
Benny, you're welcome back on this show anytime too.
He watches it. He probably watches it like you do and goes, "Did you see that? Did you see the way his shoulder moved? He's about to do this, Dad." And he never played in the NFL, never played in college. He just has that vision. He always had it. I used to tell him all the time. He should have been a high school coach. He did like I did. I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. He went into the Coast Guard, which was fine. I'm good with that. Happy, proud dad. But he could have been. So, Nate, you're saying they're lower. I understand. And
I think they lost too many players.
Too many. Who all they lose?
They lost a cornerback and safety to the Browns. They did gain a quarterback though. But it's a new team. I mean,
but the mad genius. I feel like he really is like Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
He really does,
He's an offensive Belichick.
Yeah, like what do you
I
what do
think
you
they're
do?
more like a 6.
So you're just bumping him down one. You're not really, not really
Yeah.
anything crazy. But he is the offensive version of Belichick. He is that, he give me the Frankenstein parts that you have left over, and I'll make this competitive.
That's right.
Look, you might have sold me. But you didn't. This next one, you can't sell me on this one. I'm not buying this one. There is too much turmoil in that locker room. This quarterback, in my opinion, is, he needs to go do his insurance commercials. He needs to go find somewhere else to play. I'm really done with the quarterback drama out of this city, and I just don't see it. I'm done with it. The Green Bay Packers at 4.
Yeah, that's much. Yeah, I agree totally.
Like before the summer was over, we were all thinking he was going to go play Aaron Rodgers was going to go play somewhere else. Like how are they a 4? I don't understand that. Can either one of you educate me and help me feel better about them being in this conversation? Is it their division? Minnesota, Chicago, who else is in there?
I mean, it's the quarterback.
It's more
And
the division and the respect for the quarterback.
Now I think Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, but
sure,
I can't remember the last time he won a game that counted.
Neither can he.
When's the last time he was in the playoffs?
He was in the playoffs, but he don't win the big one.
Right, and they used to blame it on Mike. God, what was their coach's name?
McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. Oh, it was McCarthy's fault. It was all him. It was their chemistry. We're gonna get rid of him, and the next one will come in and everything will be better. I'm not buying it.
He's a coach killer, man.
No,
he really is. He is that prima donna. And for a sidebar for a minute, the GOAT was the GOAT for a reason. But nobody was taking out Belichick. No. And he could have. You think he could have ever got rid of Belichick? Do you think Kraft would have got rid of Belichick? If
no.
You don't think if Brady would have been like, I'm not playing for him?
No.
Well, you saw what happened. Brady went elsewhere.
Coaches' shelf life are a lot longer than players.
So can we all agree that they're a much like if I'm going to put them in the top 10, I would put them as an 8 or a 9. I would never put them as a number 4. What are we all thinking here?
I mean, definitely not a number 4. See, I was thinking maybe 11.
Nobody 4.
11,
maybe 7.
I could see an 11. Like they're just not. I'm not buying them.
No,
I'm just not. I'm not buying them. I could almost tell you right now my overpowered. That's my overpowered. I'll tell it to you right now. They're my overpowered. I just don't see it. Like there's no business. But I think you'll both agree with my underrated. I think you both agree with my underrated.
But did you notice how ESPN likes to cater to certain teams like the Packers, the Steelers?
Well, have you ever heard that term, certain teams travel well?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the Packers travel well. The Steelers travel well. You can go.
That's right.
You can go anywhere, and you're going to see a Packers jersey. You're going to see a Steelers jersey. They just travel well.
That's right.
Raiders jersey.
Arizona could win the next 3 Super Bowls, and outside of Arizona, you're not going to see an Arizona jersey.
No.
It doesn't matter. Packers, Cowboys. There's just certain teams that, thank God for, one of my favorite eras of music, 80s gangster rap, and the Raiders travel well.
Yes.
Before then, you were like, they're okay. This one is a personal pick, and I'll tell you why here in a minute, Beanie. But I don't know if they're at this level. Interesting to put them this high. I think again could be an overpowered here. But Benny, did you know I got my cousin in the NFL?
No.
A little feller by the name of Trent Murphy.
Okay, yeah, I heard that name.
Yeah, he's the starting outside linebacker for the Buffalo Bills. That's my first cousin's oldest boy.
Okay.
The running joke in my father's side of the family is I am the smallest human, whether male or female, at 5'8". Even the women are taller than me, 5'9", 5'10", and above.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then there's me. So they're all 6'6". They're all 6'6" and 6'7". It's a whole thing. But they're putting the Buffalo Bills number 3. Are they a number 3 power ranking coming into the season? Are they really that dangerous? They got a hell of a quarterback. I love their quarterback. I think you know who he reminds me of is Steve Young.
A bigger Steve Young.
Yes. Because here's what people forget about Steve.
I'd agree with that.
Steve Young was a mobile running quarterback. People forget often that Steve Young used to actually be a threat to run the ball. Cheryl, you're absolutely right. Drew is absolutely right. Josh Allen is a beast. He is absolutely a beast. So they have a solid quarterback. I don't know offhand who their running back is. I couldn't tell you right now.
No, neither can I.
It's nothing. They've got a good coaching staff. Good upstairs even their general manager Brandon Beane.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a good upstairs. They've built this team. But is it a number 3? Nate, what do you say? Is it a number?
No.
3? Why do you say not?
I say 6.
Okay, I hear that, but why not a number 3?
There's too many unknown variables in it. I mean, you got the quarterback, but the quarterback isn't the whole team. You got to have the foundation built around the quarterback. You need running backs. You need wide receivers. You need a solid O-line.
They just signed Hollister, though.
Well,
tight end.
Yeah, he's okay.
Better than Knox. I mean, Knox wasn't giving them the numbers they needed.
Right.
You know, because I think a mobile, I believe this about a mobile quarterback. Mobile quarterbacks have to have great tight ends.
Yeah.
Because
you need a running back.
I don't know who their running back is. Somebody who's listening right now, send us in the comments who their running back is. I don't feel like looking it up.
Yeah. Well, I think mobile quarterbacks make good running backs better.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
So let me tell you my spiel on Buffalo. So when I left Baltimore, I went to Buffalo.
16
so
games.
when I got to Buffalo, that was the first team, well, the only team actually, where all the players, whether they were black or white, or whether they made $20 million or $100,000, all hung out together.
Love it.
And from what I understand, that's still the case now. So I think with the talent that they have and with that type of team chemistry, I think number 3 is where they should be.
So the Bills Mafia was more than just the fans. It was the players.
It's Western New York, so it's not a lot of options, but each other.
All right. So you played out there. I spent plenty of time in Niagara Falls. Been to Buffalo several times. Let's go ahead and figure it out right now. Bennie Anderson's answer: Duff's or Anchor Bar?
Neither.
Oh,
but if I had to choose between those two, it's Anchor Bar. Where you want to be is right down the street from the stadium, a little place called the Big Tree.
The Big Tree. Well, I have to go check that one. I'm a food whore. I love wings. So the little tree.
The Big Tree.
Or Big Tree. The Big Tree, down the street from the stadium.
That's right. You may, any given day, you may see Thurman Thomas or Bruce Smith just sitting at the bar.
What?
Yeah. It's Big Tree. Big Tree is the place.
I remember watching Thurman Thomas as a kid and just mind boggled by him. he was just, I don't know, like, God, I've watched so many great NFL players. I want to call him the best running back I ever watched, but I can't do that because I've watched so many great ones. I don't know who
Right.
the best I ever watched was. I really don't. So I don't know. 3 seems really high for them for me, but I know, I mean, it's emotionally I could say it because I have family on the team, but it's a tough one also because it's such a toss up there with a team like that and whatever they've got going on.
Yeah.
All right. So Nate, you're saying a 6. Beanie, you're saying 3 is solid. The chemistry on the field and off the field is the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with it. Now this is my look. I'm gonna tell you who number 2 is, and I think you can guess who number 1 is after I tell you who number 2 is, and I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Number 2, Tampa. Returning Super Bowl champions, Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about a Super Bowl champion being called number 2 and not number 1? Beanie.
They should definitely be number 1.
Yeah, I don't like. Why would you do that? Like, it
Well,
just seems like I don't get it.
I mean,
for who I
plus,
think number 1 is, I understand.
Hold on, Nate. I want to hear Beanie's answer.
I think number 1. I think definitely Tampa should be number 1. I think their talent says that. I think their defense is only going to get better with the young guys developing. And I'm saying that because I figured out who number 1 is, and I don't understand how I can beat you in the game and then you are crowned better than me.
Right. What were you going to say, Nate?
I was going to say, because who I think number 1 is, I understand why they're 2. Because does Tom Brady still have it?
Yes. As long as you don't let him throw on the boat after the Super Bowl win, he's perfectly fine. He's a lightweight on the drinking, though, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't eat enough red meat.
He's too busy doing the what is it, TB12 or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
He's too busy with that.
Kansas City can be a juggernaut.
I mean, I kind of want to read this for a second. It says the writing was already on the wall for the Bucs selected Kyle Tarsk in the second round of 2021, but Griffin had still maintained his spot as the third best quarterback on the team in terms of reps hierarchy. However, Griffin threw 2 interceptions in the Bucs preseason opener against the Bengals, who are just garbage. God, can we move that team to like Tanzania somewhere? Oh, it's so bad over there. Who that sucks. Or what? They're not Houdat. They're what's the one from
Who
they? Nobody want to care. Other than Bruce Aaron's doghouse, including running back Keshawn Vaughn and wide receiver Tyler Johnson, but both have responded with strong performances since getting called out. It's Tampa. They've got yeah, there it is. Nicholas got me with the who day. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Put you up here. And thank you for letting us know it's a good show. I'm glad you're enjoying it on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube so you can keep enjoying it. I just don't. I'm mind boggled by that. And you talked about Byron Leftwich. Is Byron Leftwich right now getting the best education of any offensive coordinator in the NFL? What do you think, Nate? You there, Nate?
He's going to be good.
But
Brian already.
Do you understand?
Brian already has. Yeah, he. From what he's gaining from Brady, it's just going to help him along the way.
What do you think, Beanie?
I think what they did probably around week 10 of last season, when they had a immersion of ideologies and came out with what they came out with, The old adage that iron sharpens iron. I think that's a perfect example, and I think uh, Coach.
We lost you, Beanie. You still there?
Did you not? Did you hear me?
I said I heard. Last word I heard was coach.
Yeah, I think. Well, I was saying I think Coach Leftwich is well on his way to probably being a head coach pretty soon.
Well, that was going to be my next thing. Does Byron Leftwich? Because that's that weird dichotomy there. So you're coaching who is considered as the greatest quarterback of this generation, of this era, almost two eras. The guy's been in the NFL 20 years. Does that affect his resume going forward?
I think he's going to have an opposite effect of what the guy in Kansas City, because everyone who watches Kansas City says, "Hey, Mahomes' talent." Whereas with Brady, it's Brady's mind, and so I think even though he's a fully developed quarterback and so on and so forth, I think Leftwich has really helped him to change his game to fit this new system. So for that, I think that's going to help him in contrast to the guy in Kansas City.
I agree with that.
And I think they should be number one. And I agree completely with both of you gentlemen. You don't win this. It's not like they won the Super Bowl and pulled a Florida Marlins, like win the World Series and then sell the team off.
Right.
They brought back a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Obviously some of those guys are going to leave. They've proven themselves. They're going to sign bigger contracts, other locations.
They brought back most of the team, didn't they?
Yeah, all starters are back. Every starter is back.
Every starter. How are you not number one? This is
because of the Pat Mahomes hype.
Well, I don't even know if I want to call it the Patrick Mahomes hype, as almost like ESPN creating their own news. Let's call them number two, and then people have this conversation.
Well,
ESPN does do that.
You got to justify those big TV contracts, man.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Sidebar to a lot of this. How does it hurt? And you were in there, Beanie. I mean, I've heard the news and how it all works, but how much does it affect the NFL for a Tampa Bay and a Kansas City to be great and not a Dallas and a New York?
Well, like you said, some teams just travel well. Dallas, the Cowboys are going to be Cowboys. They can win one game or 15 games. They're going to have their following. They're going to have their interest, their hype. You're going to have people who just dislike the Cowboys, and that goes well with TV. Giants with the New York market, you don't necessarily have to be in a major media market to be a major media player nowadays. So I think that the way we consume media has changed, and being in New York may not be as necessary as it once was.
All right. I guess it, I work a job where I work from home and I can deal with people globally from home. So I get it. No, that makes sense. Especially, do you like these NFL Europe games? Like, can't even call it NFL Europe because it's not really, because that was something we all grew up with. But the NFL, playing in London, do you think that's bad for players?
I think it's bad for cities. I mean, you think about it. Yeah, for that one, you only get 8. Well, I don't know how many you get now, but you only get 8 home games. So it's 8 opportunities out of the year for your whole city to come together in one place and be on one accord. Think about it. What other place in our country, our great country, where people, no matter whatever their background, socioeconomic status, religious beliefs, put all that aside to cheer on one common cause, and then to take that from that city for that week, I think is bad.
I can't. That is one of the most interesting outlooks that I've heard on that, as far as someone's approach. Because normally you hear the oh, well, it's taking money out of the city or this, that, and the other. But that is such a interesting outlook for that. I like that, Beanie. You're affecting the city, but the camaraderie of the city because you've stolen something from them.
That's right.
I like it. You got any opinions on that, Nate?
I agree with him, and on top of that, it's rough on the player to travel.
That's what I was thinking about.
You got different time zones, and
man,
the fields are different too.
You're flying on a private jet, staying in a 5-star hotel. Come on, man. Let's not overthink this.
Silk sheets,
right. Silk sheets, masseuse, the best food you can think of. No, man. It's what an 8-hour flight.
I couldn't tell you.
So
it takes you 2 weeks by Navy ship,
and then you get the next week off.
Oh, so it's before a bye week.
Exactly.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So come on now.
So you shit all over the entire NFL and all the announcers and all the stuff that they've been saying about how bad it is and what effect it has on the players. You just poo-pooed on all of it.
I mean, I just want to, just be transparent. I mean,
I love it. Who's the boxer?
Benny tells it like it is.
Oh, I love it. That is so phenomenal. So, well, look, I mean, for those of you who are really bad at guessing and you can't figure out who it is, they have ranked the Kansas City Chiefs at ESPN as the number one power ranking team coming into the season.
Bayless's favorite.
And I believe they were number one last year. I have to go back and check my numbers, but I believe they were number one last year.
They were.
And I take nothing away from these guys. Look, we're not talking about a bullshit team. I mean, I might be able to throw the ball to Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill. I mean, let's be real here. These are talents that
Lamar's throwing it to Sammy Watkins now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sammy's over on. See, again, all the changes. But, I mean, this is a team that, I mean, why can't they win another? Why haven't they won another one? I guess is really the question is why haven't they won another one? I have an answer. What's your answer, Beanie? I know my answer.
My answer is defense wins championships. Defense and offensive line play wins championships. That's the bottom line. You look at the Super Bowl from last year. Defense.
Strong defense.
Defense. I mean, I think, and no offense to Andy Reid, but let's just be honest, right? Let's call it for what it is. Andy Reid is one of the most innovative guys to be on the NFL sideline. Andy Reid doesn't have a great track record in winning the big games.
No.
So, I mean, are we sure that him winning it wasn't just the right place, right time? Did he catch lightning in a bottle?
Fair. That's a fair question. Nicholas says they like NFL and you have to tell us, Nicholas, who your team is over there. Let us know who your big team is. Hopefully it's a Ravens. That's an interesting one. Did he catch lightning in a bottle for the one? Is there more to it? Is there somebody they should have traded for that was in the open market that they missed out on?
I mean, when I look at Kansas City's defense, like I said, I get all the games here in St. Louis. They're very undisciplined, and they take a lot of plays off. And so Mahomes is able to cover up for a lot of that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it. I don't know if they necessarily have a player problem. They may actually have a culture problem.
Do you believe – now, this is my opinion. I think the worst thing that you could ever call a coach, and when you hear this, they deserve to be fired, and if you look at the greatest coaches in NFL history, you've never said this about him. Is Andy Reid a player's coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to go then. I'm sorry. Anytime I've ever heard a coach called a player's coach, he's got to go. You're not fit for it.
Well, you know what? I don't know. And I'm going to tell you why, because the players of this generation, right, they have to be handled in a way that's pretty different. You know, even from the way that they're being taught in school, the way that they learn things is totally different. Whereas we relied on our coaches to tell us information. These guys rely on coaches to explain the information to them. So a player coach has the patience to sit down and explain it, whereas more old school is like, do it this way. So I think the player coach has evolved, and I think, it's not necessarily a bad thing anymore.
Okay. Because I remember back in the day, if you called a guy, well, he's a real players kind of coach. Everybody likes him. He's a real players kind of coach. Your team sucks. Your coach sucks, and fire everybody now and restart next year because you're screwed 6 ways from Sunday. It was bad.
Yeah. I mean, but look at the workforce, right? So the NFL workforce, it mirrors everybody else workforce. You got this generation of workers. You got to kind of coax them into working. You can't just say, this is what it is. This is what we do. This is where it's at. Then let's do it. It don't work like that with people.
I do staffing for a living. I staff for a living.
So it's right up your alley.
Oh, that's a whole nother show you and I can do. We don't even have to talk about the NFL. We can just, you get whatever if you have a beverage of choice or whatever it is, we'll just sit down. Next time you're in Albany, New York, I'll get us 2 bourbons and some cigars, and we can just commiserate.
Exactly.
I don't know what Andrew's doing, but Cheryl, who's his bride, is letting us know. He says it doesn't matter. Mahomes and Brady were both on the cover of Madden, so they're both cursed with the Madden curse this year. Is the Madden curse real, Nate?
Ed Reed would never go on that cover.
Lamar was on there.
He got hurt.
You got hurt?
The Madden.
Ray got hurt.
Ray got hurt, yeah.
Ray.
And then Deshaun Watson, wasn't he on it?
Yes.
Palomalu got hurt.
See what happened to him.
What, Beanie, would you ever
Ed
go on the
said
cover?
no, thank you.
What do you think that payday's like?
To be on the cover?
Yeah, is that a good payday, you think?
I'm going to tell you what's better than that.
What's that?
So I'm a school teacher, right?
Okay.
And the kids could care less about film. Only thing they want to know is, what was your Madden rating?
What was your Madden rating, brother? I got to know.
Man, so I told the kids, and see, so I'm thinking, no way they find out. And I did not know. And I was like, yeah, man, I was probably like an 80-something. Man, I think I was like a 65 or 70 or something. And, man, those kids never let me hear the end of it.
Wow.
So, yeah, if I could be on the cover of Madden, absolutely.
That is the greatest. I love it. Oh, Nicholas, let us know. He's a Bengals. At least, look, Nicholas, we're not Bengals fans here, but I will give you this. One of my oldest, closest friends who lives in Baltimore still to this day is a Bengals fan. There's a whole group of us that when we didn't have a Baltimore team for a long stretch, we picked other teams. I used to be a Steelers fan before we had a team. I had no choice because I wasn't going to be a Deadskins fan. That wasn't happening. That was never going to be allowed in my house. Not my parents. They were like,
what was Nick?
Nicholas says he's a Bengals fan.
No, the other Nick. You know who?
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Dundalk Nick.
Dundalk Nick. You got to make. Oh, he was. You know what? I'll have to ask him. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Cheryl, keep your Steelers, Cheryl. Look, when I was a kid, I was uneducated and didn't understand the qualities of life, like how to wash your hands.
You were confused, man. It's okay.
It happens. Don't start, Cheryl. We
You,
love Cheryl.
you drink the Kool-Aid.
I needed my look, Beanie. You want to tell you? Want to tell you how I'm from Baltimore and from like the city and everything? You want to know what my cousin's name was?
Okay.
My cousin's name is Bumper. Because he used to keep his gum on the bumper of his bicycle and then still chew it. So his name is Bumper. So we're gonna get ready to put a bow on this, gents. But I want to get. So I think we all kind of can agree the overpowered team in this was Green Bay. Are any of us disagreeing in that?
No.
Nate?
Oh,
Okay. So who is your underpowered team? I'll go first because I want to get it out of the way and I want to hear what you gents are saying.
the Buck.
And Nate, my underpowered team, like that's kind of, as much as that's bullshit and I think they should be number one, my truly underpowered team, I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're putting the Cowboys at 12. I
had to go Baltimore.
Even though they're number 6, you're thinking they should be what?
At least 3 or 4.
3 or 4. You're really, when you're getting that close, that really does say something. But I think that the Cowboys truly are a top 10 team.
There's no other quarterback like Mahomes except Lamar.
Yeah, I hear you on that, but do you? I don't know. What do you think, Beanie?
I'm gonna go out on the ledge. All right, and I know this is gonna be a very unpopular pick in Baltimore, but I think this team has a really strong defense, a really strong offensive line. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I think the Colts could be a top 10 team.
Do you remember what's special about when the Colts come to Baltimore, Beanie? Do you remember what's special?
They only came once while I was playing.
Do you know they're the only team that when they come into town, when they put them up on the scoreboard, they won't put Colts. They put Indy, I-N-D-Y.
Yeah. Johnny said, I do remember.
Guess what? Jim Irsay and his coked out kid, no one likes you, not even your family. May a Mayflower truck run you over. I still remember that from 1983 as a kid and my father being like, what is going on? My father didn't cry, but he was visually angry. So you're saying now they rank here. I'll tell you where they put the Colts at in this. They put the Colts at 14. Blankenship seat has been warm since he missed a field goal, 3-point playoff with the Bills, capping off a rookie season. Colts made it clear that Blankenship didn't have the job locked up. So they're talking about their kicker. Where do you put him at, Beanie?
I put him in at 10. If Wentz can stay healthy, I put him at 10.
So you're saying Carson Wentz? Really? Is he a flash in the pan, Carson Wentz?
Say it again?
You're saying Carson Wentz, right? That's their quarterback now?
That is their quarterback.
But isn't he really a flash in the pan?
I don't think he has to be great for them to be at number 10. I think they have enough pieces around him that as long as he doesn't suck, they can be number 10. His job is to not lose the game.
The third greatest quarterback in Raven history, that's all he had to do. You know who the third greatest quarterback was? That was in my opinion, the greatest quarterback ever to play in the state of Florida, Trent Dilford. He's the best to play in Florida, right, Beanie?
Play at the University of Florida?
In the state of Florida. Better than Dan Marino.
So, you say he's better than Dan Marino?
Yeah, better than Dan Marino. You want me to prove it?
Yeah, prove it.
How many rings Dan got? How many rings, Beanie?
He
Beanie,
doesn't
how
have
many
any.
rings?
He
How
doesn't
many
have
rings?
any.
How many rings did Trent Dilford have?
He has one, but he has an asterisk by his, and it says Ray Lewis on his ring.
Hey, he also has the distinction of being the only quarterback ever to lead a team to a Super Bowl win and be traded the next season. Did you know that?
I mean, that's real Trent Differish.
Elvis Gerback.
Oh God, do you remember when he came to Ball? Were you there for the Elvis Gerback days, Beanie?
That was my first year.
Oh God.
And
yeah.
so remember, I'm from St. Louis, so I knew him. I knew of him. I'll tell you this story, man. And if he's listening, he's listening. I don't care.
If he's listening, please comment.
So, about 2 years ago, right before COVID, the NFL had some high school coaches at a coaches clinic in Indianapolis, right? So I blocked my first year in Baltimore. I think I started 15 games, maybe 14 games. So Elvis Gerback was my quarterback for 14 games. I saw him at the conference in Indy. He didn't know who I was.
No, like he. I'm sorry, sir. I don't know you.
I mean, oh yeah, oh yeah, one of those deals.
Wow. Now I can remember when he came to town. Like they touted every stat that he had out of San Francisco, like he was the second coming. He was the second coming. He was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's going to do it all.
Well,
all the United type they had behind him.
Do you remember what Shannon Sharp said about Elvis?
No.
He said he threw a better ball than John Elway.
Really? I'm not an Elway fan though.
When we went out to Denver to play the Broncos that year, during that week of media, Shannon said Elvis threw a better ball than John Elway.
Wow. And he caught from both of them.
So he would know
Benny,
better.
Were you there for Bowler also?
Yeah, I was there for Kyle Bowler. Yeah.
That look, we're gonna get ready to put a bow on this because we got to pull the lights down at the bar. It's time to close the bar up here at the Above the Bar podcast. For all of you that are listening, please make sure you like and subscribe. Beanie, do you have any kind of programs going on out there? Any websites? Anything you're supporting that these folks need to go out and find?
Support education, and support. A lot of students are going back to school this year after a year with the COVID, and teachers. If you see a kid on the bus stop or somewhere, honk your horn and wave at them. A lot of these kids are carrying so many things, so many insecurities based off coming from COVID. Plus, it's just tough as hell to be a teenager nowadays with social media. Yes, give them an encouraging word.
And I love to hear that. So, and we got Beanie coming back, folks, on October 13th. October 13th, Beanie's going to come on. We may talk a little bit of NFL. I want to hear more about Beanie, what it was like coming up. I've heard stories about, wine and dine for college players compared to a job as an NFL player. That's kind of the way it was explained to me. We're going to get into some of those things. We're going to get into what he's been involved in. Nathan, who has been just an absolute supporter of our show, helped make this happen for us. He is a phenomenal man. He can't play fantasy football to save his life. All he drafts he's got 25 kickers on his team.
Bullshit.
I keep trying to explain to him, not just because they kick the ball. You can't just keep getting kickers. We'll try to help him out one day. Can you tell, Beanie, that we're in the same fantasy league?
I can tell.
You can tell. But Nathan has been such a great supporter of this team. Nathan, you got anything you're supporting? Anything you got coming up?
Not really. I'll keep you posted.
So if he's got anything, he's going to let us know. Nicholas, who enjoyed our great show from overseas today. You have to let us know where you're coming to with us. We've all enjoyed having you here. Nate, Andrew, Media by Dibble. Make sure if you got any media needs, let him know. He can do it all. He can make it happen. Coming up this week, folks, as we get ready to close this up, we have Beanie. You like to eat? I know Beanie's down to a double X, folks. My man is down to a double X. Well, how big?
Yeah, man.
How big?
So I grew up in a different era, right? So I grew up in a baggy clothes era. Do you remember that when you just?
Oh yeah. How old are you, Beanie? How old are you, Beanie?
I'm 44.
I'm 45.
So I never really knew what size I wore. I just wore whatever the biggest size they had. So
Jinko jeans for everybody.
So yeah, man. So I would just put it like this: I am below my max fine weight. So if I was to get a call from an NFL team, they could not find me because of my weight.
That is phenomenal. Well, coming up this upcoming Wednesday, 8 p.m., we have a man named David Page, two-time Emmy Award winner, who wrote a book called Food Americana, or Americana Food, that talks about food trends in the U.S. and how they've shifted with culture. So maybe if you got time, brother, come join us. We'll have to find each other on Facebook and come join us and enjoy this and see if it's something that's up your alley.
Man.
I got to get out to St. Louis. I got to have ribs. I have St. Louis ribs. I got to teach you guys how to make ribs.
Yeah. You ever had toasted ravioli?
So that's the Hill, right?
That's the Hill, yeah.
I've heard of it. I've never had it. And for those of you, I'm trying to close it, but for a moment, there's a neighborhood in St. Louis I want to go to called the Hill. This is an all-Italian neighborhood, very similar in Baltimore to Little Italy, but they call it the Hill in St. Louis, that has just incredible Italian food. Tell me how good toasted raviolis are, Beanie.
So they're deep fried ravioli.
Oh,
Deep fried ravioli. That's the most.
That sounds good.
That's the simplest, most generic definition. They're really just rectangles of deliciousness.
Well, if you ever get out here, now I know you played in Buffalo. Did you ever get down to Utica?
No, I never got to Utica.
Bro, Utica, I love my Baltimore, Little Italy Italian food. Sabatini's, places like that.
Right.
But Utica has some of the best Italian food I've ever had. They have like a crazy Italian area. They do these things called chicken riggies and Utica greens that are just insane good. They have their own Italian things. Right. It's so good. Well, we're gonna talk fat kids on October 13th. Like chocolate cake fat kids on October 13th.
That sounds great.
I'm loving it, gentlemen. Season kicks off coming up here. I doubled my iPad closed on me. So season is kicking off. I believe it said it was Tampa Bay and Dallas. Let's see on this Thursday. Let's see NFL schedule. Yep, it's Dallas at Tampa Bay, 8:20 this Thursday. Beanie, who wins?
Tampa by 7.
Tampa by 7. Nate.
Tampa
by
14.
By 14. Fuck, he's blowing them out. I'm gonna go Dallas by 3. Just to be different. So, gentlemen, as we always do here at the Above the Bar podcast, the guests get the last word. Beanie, you got to give me a couple minutes after the show ends. I just need to get something from you. Nate, what's your last word?
I'm good, brother.
You don't have a last word for the host or anything?
No, I don't have a last word. I wasn't prepared for that.
All right. Beanie, what's the last word you got for us, brother?
Go Ravens, and hey, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Tune back into this podcast.
Thank you, brother. All righty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.